This is the story of the very first Christmas, wherein a very special baby is born. You've probably heard of him. He is called Jesus, and he is the Son of God. His mother was Mary, and she was married to Joseph. You've probably heard of them too. Here they are now. You've probably not heard of Grumble, though here he is, Grumble the donkey. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Grumble the donkey was very grumpy and liked nothing better than to grumble. He had grumpy ears, a grumpy nose, grumpy hooves. In fact, he was a whole bundle of grumbles. That day, however, he had much more to grumble about than usual.
You see, mighty Caesar, who is so famous, you've definitely heard of him, had called for a census, and everyone had to travel to the place of their birth to be counted.
Because I say so.
For Mary and Joseph, that meant travelling all the way to Bethlehem. It was a really long and difficult journey, especially for Mary who was about to have a baby. Luckily, they had a donkey. Yes, that's right. Guess who had to carry Mary all the way?
Me.
The journey seemed to go on forever.
Not far, not long now.
Grumble rolled his eyes. Joseph had said that 5 times already. Grumble had aching ears, an aching nose, and aching hooves.
Finally, they arrived in Bethlehem. Unfortunately, so had everyone else arrived. At least that's what it felt like. Mary and Joseph were pushed and shoved, trodden on and barged upon. It was enough to make even the cheeriest donkey cross. Grumble, however, was not a cheery donkey.
Mega grumble.
Mary was exhausted. She knew her baby was going to be born soon. They needed to find somewhere to stay as quickly as possible.
No way, oh no way. Is the running road?
Empty memory note.
There's no room for anyone, we're absolutely full. You can Thank you.
Grumble didn't like the sound of this.
Follow me.
Stables were for animals like him. The last thing he wanted was humans in his nice quiet stable. And as for a crying baby, that sounded like a whole bundle of trouble.
He decided to stay outside where he could whinge and moan to himself in peace. Very satisfying.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
That night in the humble little stable in Bethlehem, the Son of God was born, Jesus our Saviour.
Meanwhile, in the hills above Bethlehem, some shepherds watch over their flock of sheep. You might have heard of them too. The sheep were being very naughty. Being naughty is one of the things that sheep are very good at, along with leaping over fences and moving.
I'm a fluffy bundle of naughtiness. I'm a fluffy chickenette.
It was bedtime and we really didn't want to go to sleep.
Suddenly, there was a bright flash in the sky. The shepherds were terrified and fell to the ground, covering their eyes and wondering what was going to happen.
Don't be afraid, shepherds, we mean no harm.
The angel Gabriel appeared. He was God's messenger and had important news for them.
We bring you good tidings of great joy. King is born. Jesus is the Son of God.
We got good news for you. We got good news for you. Baby Jesus born today. Born lying in the hay. Good news, good news, good news. We got good news for you. We got good news for you. He has come for everyone. Good news for you, baby Jesus born today. You're lying in the hay. Good news, good news, good news.
newborn king, for they were only humble shepherds.
And I found a snare.
My hand is aching.
My toes are trembling.
They decided that they wanted to take a gift to the newborn king, but they were only poor shepherds. What could they possibly give him?
We're just poor shepherds, we don't have much to bring. What can we give to the special new king? But we will give him everything we've got. A little lamb, a gift from us to him. We're just poor shepherds, we don't have much to bring. What can we give to the special new king? But we will give him everything we've got. A little lamb, a gift from us to him.
The shepherds went down the hillside into Bethlehem in search of the stable. When they found it, the shepherds were nervous all over again.
Will the baby like us?
Are we good enough to meet him?
Grumble the donkey was cross that his news had been rudely interrupted. After his long journey, he was tired all over again. His ears were tired, his nose was tired, and his hooves were tired. He was still a bundle of grumbles.
Please don't interrupt my snooze.
Okay, let's go and make them go free. 1, 2, 3.
Travelling across the desert became 3 people who were far from poor and humble. There's a good chance you heard of them too. They were very wise kings and had been following a star from the east for a long time.
You know lots of stuff. You know lots of stuff about lots of stuff. Yeah, very important.
The star the kings were following was very big. They knew that it would lead them all the way to the special baby, the Son of God. The star had stopped outside the stable. Suddenly, the special baby wouldn't be born in a stable. Suddenly, they found themselves full of doubt, and kings, probably as they are very important and are not easily feeling doubtful. Grumble the donkey scowled at the next set of visitors through the sturdy smooth.
Who are you? We are very important people.
We are very important kings. We know lots and lots of things. We've travelled very far, following the star, looking for the baby Jesus. We are
better out here, to be honest.
The kings looked at each other in confusion. Grumble explained,
It's the baby. Baby make noise. They're trouble. I'm out of here. Wait, did you say baby?
the kings looked at each other in astonishment. It was most unexpected and yet also rather wonderful. Nobody knew quite what to do. Finally, Grumble had enough.
I've had enough. Had enough.
They couldn't stand outside all evening, he said. Why don't they all go in together?
Great idea.
The stable was peaceful and bathed in a warm glow of love, which came from a tiny little baby sneezing in the manger. In their hearts they all knew that Jesus was a very special baby. The kings and shepherds suddenly realised that they had no worry or doubt left in their hearts. The kings left gold, frankincense and myrrh. The shepherds left a lamb. They all gathered around the manger to greet him, all except for one little donkey.
Grumble, would you let Christmas in?
Suddenly, Grumble didn't feel quite so grumpy anymore. What was this strange sensation inside of him? He tiptoed over to the manger, feeling shy. He peered inside and then gave his biggest, broadest, donkeyiest grin.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
The baby wasn't a bundle of trouble at all. In fact, he looked like a whole
Bundle of joy.
All his grumbles disappeared as he looked around. He realised that everyone else felt it too. They felt it in their ears, they felt it in their noses, and they felt it in their hooves. Feet. But most of all, they felt it where it really counts, in their heart.
Everyone in the humble little stable was filled to bursting with wonder, love and joy. And from that day on, Grumble realised the true power of joyfulness, and he never, ever grumbled again. Well, not that much anyway.